am filming. I haven't filmed like a real video in a long time, but I got my hair done today, so I figured since it was cute and fresh and clean, although I did actually clean it myself yesterday as well, that I would film some videos. So you're gonna see several videos of me looking like this, but I don't care, so hopefully you don't care. Anyways, so I wanted to start by talking about something. I think I did this last year for the first time ever, now that I have been doing anticipated releases videos, which that will be coming as well, or already came. I'm not sure what order I'm posting things. Is look back at my anticipated releases for this year, so 2024, and did I read them? Now, I'm going to tell you that technically it is still November. It is just like a few days before Thanksgiving, but I'm pretty confident in this list. So this list, and I believe I mentioned all of these in my original video, which I will link below, but I did not rewatch it to confirm. But I believe I made this list as a note on my phone, like at the end of 2023. So I just tried to check them off as I read them, and there was 11 books. Let's go roughly in what I believe is chronological order / the order in which I may have read them. I will tell you, spoiler alert, I made this a priority this year, and while my reading has been lackluster and I will probably not hit my Goodreads goal, I demolished this list. I'm very happy with this. So the first one is A Fragile Enchantment by Allison, I think it was Saft. I ended up getting this in a book box in a fairy loot, which I expected, and is one of the reasons I didn't pre-order it. And I actually also got it from the library, and I was reading it as an ebook, and I DNF'd it. I did not like it at all. I don't remember where I DNF'd it. If I can remember, I will try to put the percentage, because I try to put that in my Goodreads. I mark it as red. If I hit like 20-25%, I will mark it as red, because I feel like I deserve that in my Goodreads challenge. And I will try to put in like the review section where I DNF'd it, and I do not rate my DNFs. I don't care if you do, I just don't. I don't think that's fair from my perspective, so I don't. So yes, I DNF'd it. I also sold this book. So I hope whoever bought it from me for like $30, you enjoyed it, because I did not. Next is Midnight Ruin by Katie Robert, which was the first book in the Dark Olympus series that came out earlier this year. These are running together, so hold on, I'm on my iPad, I can look this up on Goodreads and at least tell you whose story it was. This series and I have been in a little bit of a difficult place lately. So yes, I think this I did get a physical copy of, because I was still subscribing to Katie's Patreon, but I stopped that. I stopped all of my Patreon subscriptions. I stopped a lot of stuff when I was trying to buy a house. And at this point, I have not started it back up again. And it'll probably stay that way for a little while. But I would always get the audios for these from my library. They're always available through Hoopla for me, so I never have any issues. Okay, so this one was Eurydice, Karen, and Orpheus. And I gave this 4 stars. I think one of the things I liked about this was I felt like we got away from some characters that we've been spending a lot of time with, so that was nice. But it was long. I read it like right after it came out, so also like these are characters I don't really know a lot about, like from actual Greek mythology, to like think about them as characters, which also probably helps. Next was one of my most highly anticipated reads, and that was Destroy the Day by Bridget Kemmerer, the 3rd book in her, I think it was just called the Defy the Night trilogy. Franny's peeing, so I'm gonna stop because you can probably hear that. Sorry, there's a litter box in this room. She's probably gonna scratch forever, so I'm not gonna stop talking now, because she loves to bury everything. She even tries to bury her food. I keep explaining to her that we live in a home, there are no predators. She doesn't listen. Hey, not on the wall. Good girl. So Destroy the Day. It was the third book in her Defy the Night trilogy, and I have been obsessed with that trilogy. Listen, I am a Bridget Kemmerer fan girl. I am obsessed with her like, I mean, I don't know her as a person, but I'm sure she's great. I'm obsessed with her writing. Everything I've read by her, I have loved. So I think I gave the third book in the Cursebreaker series like 4 stars, but I may have even given that 5 stars. Like, at this point, she is just like a 5-star girly, and I love her. And this was no exception. 5 beautiful stars. I love this trilogy. I feel like it is underappreciated. I think I talked about Defy the Night in a recent 1-star reading 1-star reviews video. So obviously some people don't like it, and that's fine. But I loved it. And it does not take place in like the same world as her Cursebreakers series, but it is wonderful. And I am so torn about reading it again or not. Like, I would love to reread it, but it was so stressful, especially the second book. Whew. Anyways, next was Bride by Ellie Hazelwood, who I keep coming back to and I am so conflicted on. And I was really hopeful for Bride because I was like, well, it's something different. Like, this is going to be great. And it was fine. I got it from my library. I gave it 3 stars on audio. It was an Ellie Hazelwood book. Some people have really loved it, and I'm happy for them. Will I learn my lesson? Probably not. Next was The Dixon Rule by Elle Kennedy. I ended up buying this physically. I put off reading it for a little bit. I really enjoyed The Graham Effect. I think I gave it 4 stars. I don't think I gave it 5 last year. But The Graham Effect comes with like the added baggage and enticement of following Gigi, who's the daughter of 2 characters that we know. Oh, sorry about the laundry basket. Let's go upstairs. 2 characters that we know from the Off-Campus series. And so this, even though you meet, oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. I'm not gonna look it up. The girl whose last name is Dixon. In the first book, like, it's a little more separated. Obsessed with this book. 5 stars. It was so good. It does deal with some like domestic violence issues in a different way than I kind of expected. Like, I had heard that and it was not what I expected to have happen. So I really appreciate that because I feel like it was like a slightly different perspective on what that experience can be like. It was such a good book. It was so, like, it got me emotionally. It made me cry. Like, to me, it had, so like the Off-Campus books are amazing, but I feel like they are all different. And maybe, I mean, obviously they're different. They're different stories. But like, to me, is it the Score? Dean's book is like so hyper emotional, specifically around him. And that this book had that, and where it almost comes out of nowhere, where like you fully don't expect for him to be the character that gets you. After reading this, if you've read this book, my dad and I had to have a conversation about how to handle things. And he was like, she's like mad at me and I didn't even do anything. I was like, listen, you just don't do what the character in this book did to me. Don't do it. Anyways, moving on. Next was the other Ellie Hazelwood book, which was Not in Love. And I think I might have said in my anticipated releases video that if I did not enjoy this, that I was going to give up on Ellie Hazelwood. I think I'm a liar, but anyways, I did give it 3 stars. I did not love it. I think Love theoretically is, of her full-length books, the one I have enjoyed the most. But I think her novellas have probably been better for me. I wanted to like this so much. I heard it was going to be a little darker, a little edgier. I had read, I think in the comments on Chandler's video, somebody talking about the dynamic specifically from the hero, I think his name was Eli, And that comment, even though it was a negative, this is why I like negative reviews, made me so pumped to read this. And that person and I have completely different perspectives on things, because this was not that at all. But like, it was fine, but it like wasn't what I wanted it to be. Next was the second book that came out in the Dark Olympus series by Katie Robert, Dark Restraint. This one was, I think this is the Minotaur story. Yes, Ariadne and the Minotaur. I gave this 3 stars. I did not enjoy this at all. And I had such high hopes for this one because, again, we were leaving characters, like moving on to like completely different characters almost. Like these characters come from like a completely different area of like the world, like all of it. I was so excited and everything. I just did not like it. Like, I gave it 3 stars, but I don't own a physical copy, and like I will buy one eventually so my series is complete. But this series continues to be kind of a disappointment for me, and at this point it's just really sad. But 2 more books and then we get Hera and Zeus's story, and I just am really hoping for that one to not disappoint, because there's going to be so much build up, but we'll see. Next was one I wasn't sure if I was going to read, and that is The 5-Year Lie by Serena Bowen, which I actually ended up doing a reading vlog for, because it was a domestic thriller. It was her embarkation into that. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I ended up enjoying it. I am still not really sure about thrillers and myself. I think I said this in that video, this felt more like along the tone of romantic suspense to me, so it wasn't too aggressive, and there was a romantic element to it, or a romance element to it. It made me cry several times. It was great. I love Serena's writing. She like knows how to write a book for me. Next was Attached at the Hip by Christine Riccio, who is a booktuber. I have followed her for a long time. I haven't really watched her videos in the last couple of years, and I have not read any of her prior books. I think this is her 3rd book. They are standalone, like contemporary romance, I believe. This one definitely I would say is contemporary romance. If you forced me, I would put it in the romance category, but I feel like it maybe leans a little bit more like in the like chick lit, women's fiction-y. Like the romance I don't think is actually the main plot point, so but it's a very strong plot point. But this is the first book I've read by her. While her books are standalones, apparently you do see characters in here from her previous books, which I don't have a problem with. I saw some reviews and I think some people did. Maybe it's because I'm a romance reader, so that's pretty common. But I also feel like you've already created characters, so why not have them there so your world feels more fleshed out and full? Like, that makes sense to me. Anyways, I got this from the library, and I gave it 4 stars. I ended up really enjoying it. It wasn't exactly what I expected it to be. It is a little over the top, but I feel like if you watch Christine's content, that's not a surprise. Like, I feel like this is the kind of book she would write. Like, I'm also not, like, I don't have a problem with that. Like, over the top, dramatic, corny, cheesy kind of content. Like, I think if you do it well, like, it's good, it's fun. Also, like, I am, like, while I don't really watch Survivor anymore, and I haven't for several years, I was a very big Survivor fan growing up. That's something that Christine and I have in common. I used to listen to so many Survivor podcasts. I still listen to the Survivor historians whenever they deign to put a podcast out. And I will rewatch old seasons of Survivor. Like, I have favorite seasons. Hot take, Palau is one of my favorite seasons. I feel like that's an underappreciated season. And then my bigger hot take is that I love to rewatch Guatemala. If you watch Survivor, you understand how much hate that season gets. So maybe with Danny's return I did not watch the Winners at War season because I did not want to see Sandra lose or Danny lose, because those are like two of my favorite winners. And I think Danny is so underappreciated in the lore of Survivor. But I love rewatching Guatemala. Like, I love it. Obsessed. So like, I literally keep my CBS, like whatever, Paramount Plus or whatever, I keep it so that one, my nephew can watch Paw Patrol, and two, so that I can rewatch old seasons of Survivor. Anyways, next is a funny story by Emily Henry, and I have not read an Emily Henry book since Beach Read came out. And I was nervous about this, but I had said, I think in that video, like in my anticipated releases video, that I thought out of all of the books she's released since then, because Beach Read, I think I gave it 4 stars. I think I enjoyed it, but it wasn't completely what I wanted it to be. That this one sounded the most up my alley. And after waiting for a decent amount of time to get an audiobook hold, which that was the other thing, I decided to try an audiobook this time. Oh my gosh, y'all, I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. It was amazing. I think a lot of people feel that way this year. So, it was just, I haven't like wanted to just do nothing or like find things that I could do while listening to an audiobook in a long time. And, it made me so happy to have that again, you know, and it was so good. I would have, of course, preferred like dual POV because I am who I am, but it was so good. I think I will check out other Emily Henry books, but I'm not going to like highly prioritize them in my life. But yes, I did like this. And then the last book on this list is Nobody Like Us by Krista and Becca Ritchie, which is the last book in the Like Us series. This is the final book that follows Luna and Donnelly. And no, I have not read it, and I do not believe I will have read it by the end of the year because I have not read any of their books yet. I did not think that this book would get read this year. I thought it would be a win if I got through their first book, because I have to make it through Akara, Sully, and Banks's books first. Now I am down to their last book, and I keep avoiding it because I just feel like I'm gonna hate it. But here we are. I own it on audio. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. I will do it. So yes, I did not plan on reading this, but stay tuned. I have a video where I will talk about my plans. And if you probably already know this, if you watch me, like, you probably follow Krista and Becca, like, you wouldn't be getting this information from me. You would have gotten it from them. They are going to be writing more books about characters that feature in this series, like the other second generation kids, but they will not be in the Like Us series, which I think is probably good, because I think that they really ended up kind of like boxing themselves into the like billionaires and bodyguards thing. And like, how many times can you write that story? You know? So I'm happy. I'm scared to death of, oh my gosh, Beckett, I believe is the Cobalt boy who is a ballet dancer. I am scared to death for those stories because dance and ballet is something I am familiar with, and they have already done things incorrectly in the Like Us series. And it's like that thing where, like, if you read something that you are innately knowledgeable about, it kind of like grates on you. So I am very scared about that, but it is what it is. So I am so happy with how this went. Hopefully in 2025, I have a similar success. And honestly, even though some of these were like 3 stars and I had a D and F, I am also happy that I am a fairly good judge of what I will like. So that is good. So yeah, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.